Hello students, this is our unit Diversity in Living World, that is the first unit, and chapter 1 is the living world. So we all know how wonderful is the living world. Wide range of living types is amazing. Extraordinary habitats in which we find living organisms, be it cold mountains, deciduous forest, ocean, freshwater lakes, deserts, hot springs, leave us speechless. The beauty of galloping horse, of the migrating birds, the valley of flowers, and the attacking shark evokes and a deep sense of wonder. The ecological conflict and cooperation among members of a population and among populations of a community, or even the molecular traffic inside the cell, make us deeply reflect on what indeed is life. So the question has two implicate questions with it. The first one is technical and second one is the philosophical. So first question, what is life? We'll understand this in this chapter, and second one is philosophical, and we won't seek the which seeks the answer of what is the purpose of life. So as being science student, we'll not go for the second part of the question, that is philosophical one. We'll try to reflect on what is living. Now, what does living mean? So, a dictionary will define life to property that separates living beings from non-living objects. It leaves the meaning of life unclear even to a common man. However, even a common man can recognize a living organism, that is plants, animals, bacteria, fungi, etc., and differentiate it from non-living, just like stone, rock, brick, etc. Problem arises when we go deeper into this differentiation. Viruses are neither plants nor animals. We all know about them, that they take the machinery of a living being. Otherwise, outside the living body, they are acting as a crystal. So here we will say on the basis of some characteristics, scientists have defined life. This is the definition. Life is unique, complex cellular organization of molecules and the cells themselves, which shows various types of chemical reactions which lead to availability of energy, growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation and reproduction. This definition, though nearest to truth, doesn't give either a simple or composite property of life. So in the next slides, we'll study about the characteristics of living beings. In this slide, we'll study the definition of biology and life. The term biology is derived from Greek word bios, means life, and logia means study of. So study of life is called biology. Biology is the study of life and living organisms. Life can be defined as the property or quality of living organisms that distinguishes from dead or non-living in some functions like growth, metabolism, response to stimuli, and reproduction, etc., as I have told you earlier. The main characteristics of living organisms are individuality, definite shape and size, organization, homeostasis, and protoplasm, cellular structure, genetic material, variation, adaptations, reproduction, growth, evolution, death, life cycle, and self-regulation. But the main we will study, as you have seen in this slide, main will study these four characteristics in detail. Growth is an important characteristic feature of living organisms. The increase in mass and number. Non-living objects also grow in mass by accumulation of material or its surface. Growth is in a living being takes place due to internal processes, that is cell division. Plants show continuous growth throughout their lifespan, while animals show growth up to a certain age. Young individuals grow in size. The growth is due to internal addition of protoplasmic materials by which cells enlarge and divide. This is internal growth. This growth is seen in the development of large-sized tree from a small-sized seed, or an adult human being from a small baby. Non-living objects may increase in size due to deposition of similar material over the surface. This process is called accretion. So growth occurs when anabolism exceeds catabolism. Two types of substances are formed for growth. There are protoplasmic and apoplasmic substances. Protoplasmic substances are constituents of living matter. They bring about increase in bulk of protoplasm. Apoplasmic substances are non-living substances. For example, cell wall, matrix, fiber of connective tissue. So formation of the two types of substances is followed by cell division and cell enlargement. All living organisms produce their offspring by the process of reproduction. Reproduction is an important process for continuing the lineage of a species. Reproduction is of two types, sexual and asexual. Just like fungi reproduce by asexual spores, yeast and hydra by budding, planaria by regeneration. This all we have studied in the chapter reproduction in organisms in 10th standard. Unicellular organism like bacteria, unicellular algae, amoeba, reproduction is synonymous with growth, that is increase in number of cells. Life comes from pre-existing life. Young ones grow, become mature, they develop the faculty to produce young ones of their own type. Some organisms reproduce asexually through fission. Bird spores, I have given you the examples. Others reproduce gametes or sex cells which fuse to form the young ones. However, reproduction is not a must for all living organisms. Infertile couples live but don't reproduce. Mule is sterile. Worker honey bee seldom reproduce. So reproduction is not necessary for the living, but it is necessary for perpetuation of the race. Next property is metabolism. All living organisms are made up of chemicals belonging to various classes, sizes and functions. We have studied all these in chapter biomolecules. The chemicals within a living organism are constantly being made and changed into some other biomolecules. The sum total of the chemical reactions occurring in our body is called metabolism. So metabolism is of two types, anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism is synthesizing reactions and catabolism is breakdown reaction. No living non-living objects doesn't show metabolism. So metabolism, basically a large number of chemical reactions are going on in our body of a living being. They can also be carried out in vitro or cell-free system. Therefore, the metabolic reactions are also called biological reactions. The sum of all the chemical reactions occurring in an organism is called metabolism. So, metabolism, two types, catabolism. Catabolism means destructive metabolism. It involves breakdown of complex organic material into simple ones. For example, respiration. And anabolism is constructive metabolism, which involves building up of complex organic substances from simpler ones. For example, photosynthesis, assimilation. Metabolism is a defining property of the living beings. Next property is response to external stimuli. Living organisms respond to their surroundings or environment. Respond to environmental stimuli could be physical, chemical or biological. Plants respond to external factors like light, water, temperature, other organism, pollutants, etc. And organisms can sense and respond to environmental cues. Photoperiod affects reproduction in seasonal breeders, both plants and animals. Organisms handle chemical entering their bodies and aware of their surroundings, and human being is the only organism which has self-consciousness. Consciousness is the awareness of one's environment, actions and intentions. It is present only in living organisms. Therefore, consciousness is the defining property of living organism. It enables an organism to handle substances entering the body and respond to non-living and living entities present in the medium. So, human beings additionally possess self-consciousness or awareness of self. Higher animals have sense organs for scanning the external environment. Other organisms do so without the presence of sense organs. For example, both plants and animals can sense photoperiods for their breeding through plants don't have sense organs. You must have seen flowers moving towards sunlight, or some plants are day plants, some plants are night plants. We'll study later in the plant physiology. So likewise, irritability or sensitivity is the faculty of responding to a stimulus. It is property of protoplasm, as is shown by all organisms, both plants and animals. Animals show quick response to a stimulus because they additionally possess nervous system. For example, pain on being pricked, running away from sight of predator. Plants show slow response. Bending of shoot towards light, we have studied in 10th class. And however, sensitive plant Mimosa pudica shows almost immediate response on being touched by folding and bending of its leaves. However, consciousness and irritability cannot distinguish a living being from a non-living being. A person in coma fails to respond to any stimulus. Even then, the person cannot be called dead or non-living. So there are many properties apart from these properties, just like healing, regeneration, coordination, movements, etc., that we will study later. First of all, we must know that Earth has 1.7 to 1.8 million known organisms. Each organism represents a distinct species. All the species differ from one another. Variability present among organisms, their individuals, communities and ecosystems is called biodiversity. It is not fixed. New organisms are being continuously discovered. Such a large number of organisms cannot be studied without distinct names and a proper system of classification. For that, we need nomenclature. Nomenclature is making and giving proper, specific, distinguishing name to each and every organism. It's of two types: common names and scientific names. The mode of giving scientific names is called binomial nomenclature, as each of them consists of two words. One is genus name and one is species. Just like human beings have the name Homo sapiens. Homo is the genus and sapiens is the species. So there are local names which are given to organism in a particular region and language by common persons. Group names are also given on the basis of similarities among the organism, for example dog, cattle, tree, shrub, etc. However, each region, tribe and language has its own specific name for organism known in that area, so that they can be properly identified. For example, rose in English is gulab in Hindi, Gollop in Bangla and Rosapo in Tamil. Similarly, butterfly in English is Titli in Hindi, Prajapati in Bangla and Vananthu Puchi in Tamil. Common names have both advantage and disadvantage. So common names are brief, consisting of single word, but these common names which are said at a particular area that cannot be known to some other area. So every new the organism which is identified, that's given a scientific name, and that scientific name is recognized by all over the world.